Welcome to the American Institute of Healthcare Professionals video on emotional flooding. And emotional flooding is a newer term which was coined by John Gottman. And Gottman was referring to individuals who suddenly are overwhelmed by multiple stressors and they completely and totally lose rational thinking for a short period of time. Many of them can enter into a fight or flight mode in itself. So, emotional flooding can lead to shutting down. It can lead to an individual just completely fleeing a scene or erupting in complete emotional distress, or in some cases, unfortunately, anger. So, with that said, emotional flooding obviously is a serious situation. It is one where reason is lost, and it can be very detrimental to relationships. It can lead to domestic violence, and it can also lead to hostile work environments itself. Those that are higher risk for emotional flooding are many individuals who are consistently overworked, who have multiple stressors, or are dealing with multiple losses at the same time. In addition, any individuals that are dealing with PTSD, anxiety issues, or have various personality orders, such as borderline personality disorder, they are more subject to emotional flooding itself. Now, individuals who deal with emotional flooding can help themselves in some ways by trying to spot the signs, spot the triggers, and to try to practice self care in general, trying to avoid burnout. And burnout is what leads to flooding in many cases. And that might require lifestyle changes in terms of how one is balancing work and leisure. Maybe schooling is also involved, and there's just so much going on. And then something else, such as a loss or an unexpected stressor, emerges. And these are things that individuals need to be prepared for. And by protecting oneself through self care, these things can be avoided. So, identifying triggers and emotions and learning to regulate those emotions are key. Also, practicing grounding techniques. And grounding techniques are used in PTSD quite a bit. With individuals who are suffering from post-traumatic stress syndrome, sometimes they're asked to try to ground themselves, whether that's grabbing the side of a chair and just feeling the texture of the chair, or rubbing their feet against the ground. Grounding techniques. They can also be more mental in terms of breathing exercises, as well as meditation. Now, some may eventually require some type of counseling that involves stress management and anger management strategies as well to help with it. Now, if you are an individual who lives with a partner or work with others who deal with emotional flooding issues, there's some helpful tips to take. Some helpful tips to take as well. Now, first of all, I think it needs to be really emphasized that no one is ever should ever be subjected to mental or physical abuse of any type. So if someone is abusive, even if it's through a mental disorder and it's not completely their fault, one should remove themselves from that situation if it becomes too violent or call for the appropriate help. Just because someone is experiencing something does not mean they have a free ticket to abuse the other person, whether it's partner, parent, spouse. No one deserves to be abused. With that said, there are some helpful tips. Individuals who are working with others that are going through this, they need to show a lot of empathy and non-judgment to understand that this is not completely the individual's fault. Helping the other person sometimes find grounding through coaching and helping them breathe through the process can help. Helping other persons identify triggers, and this can be discussed on a separate day when everything is fine, and start discussing these triggers, and when these triggers begin to emerge, how to handle them before you get from point A to point C, where the emotional flooding and loss of control might occur. And a lot of this can be done also through co-counseling itself. So that's a little bit on what emotional flooding is. If you want to learn more about it, definitely feel free to do some research on it. It's definitely part of stress management and anger management. It's an issue within those two fields. AIHCP offers certifications for both, for stress management as well as anger management, and there are the links. Our phone number is 330-652-7776, and our email is info@aihcp.org. Please don't also forget to hit to subscribe to our channel. I'd like to thank you for listening and have a good day.